We're going to continue using our color theory notes that we did on the primary, secondary, and intermediate colors, plus the complementary colors, to create a color wheel. You can make it a project on its own, or you can just put it in your sketchbook kind of as notes and reminders for when you do all other projects this year. So I'm going to use a piece of paper here. Maybe I'll put it back in my sketchbook when I'm done. But we're going to make a color wheel quickly to demonstrate our knowledge on color theory, my favorite element of design. So I'm going to just use circles. You can do any shape you want to represent your color wheel, but most color wheels use circles to represent the primary and secondary colors. So if you remember from the other video on the notes, the color that's always at the tip top is yellow. So I'm going to just make a circle at the top here. If you think of it as like a clock too, yellow would be 12 o'clock on the clock. And if you think of the sun up in the sky, it's right above you at 12 noon. So 12 on the clock. And the very tip bottom of the clock, like 6 o'clock on the clock, would go directly underneath, near the bottom. So I'll put another circle. Ooh, that's rough. But again, it's practice in our sketchbook, so it doesn't have to be perfect. So we're also going to add 2 more circles on this side and 2 more on this side, because there's 3 primaries and 3 secondaries. 3 plus 3, 6. So I'll put a circle here. I'll put a circle here. And then there'll be one directly across from this one, and one directly across from that one. So it kind of makes a clock or a wheel, round and round. So, first things first, we're going to also make an intermediate shape. So you can pick whatever shape you want. Maybe you want to do hearts, maybe you want to do more circles, maybe you want to do squares, maybe you want to do triangles. I'm going to do a diamond shape in between for my intermediates. I don't know why, I just kind of felt like it. So there's 3 primaries, 3 secondaries, to make 6 total main colors, and then there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 intermediates. 6 main colors, 6 intermediates, and 3 of them are primary, 3 secondary, 6 intermediate. Crazy vocabulary, but I know you can do it. So now we're going to label our colors. So we're just going to label like our main colors here. You don't need to watch me do all of them, but I'm going to start with yellow at the tip top. And if you want, you can add the Spanish version too, amarillo. And then if you remember that yellow's at the tip top, the complementary color would be opposite or directly across on the color wheel. So yellow's complement, do you remember? Purple or violeta. And then if we go back to the top of our clock, if we go counterclockwise, let's say, I'm going to go this way. I'm going to skip over my intermediate and go right to my next color. It would be a secondary color, and it's going to be orange or anaranjado. Then we go again over here. Now we're back to a primary. Red, rojo red. Of course we have purple, then we keep going. Oh man, we just hit all 3 warm colors on the color wheel. Now we're heading into the cool color territory. So purple's a cool color. That's like the cutoff there. And then we have azul blue. And then yellow plus blue makes green. Verde green. So again, like I talked about in the notes video, in between the primaries on the color wheel would be the secondary. So again, yellow and red are primaries. Primary plus primary makes secondary orange. Primary red, primary blue makes purple in the middle. Primary yellow, primary blue makes green, secondary green in the middle. Alright. Then for your intermediate colors, they're going to be the primary plus the secondary. So yellow and green makes a yellow-green sandwich. You say the primary color first. I'm just going to put a YG for yellow-green. For verde green, azul blue, they make a blue green. I'm going to say BG, blue green, primary blue first. Blue and purple, I'm going to say it's blue violet. I like the sound of that better, so BV. Red violet, RV. Orange and red, you would say primary red first, so red-orange. And primary yellow with secondary orange makes a yellow-orange. Yo. That's my macaroni and cheese color. So, we're also going to make a triangle connecting our primaries. So, primary main colors, yellow, red, and blue. The trifecta of main colors, a trio, one might say. And then our secondary colors, I'm going to use a dotted line because, yes, they are very important, but they wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for the primaries. So primaries are a solid line, and my secondaries are a dotted line. So this makes a pretty cool symmetrical pattern on our color wheel too. For the colors themselves, you can, like in the video notes I use crayon. You can just fill it in with crayon, or you could use markers, or you could use colored pencils. I'm going to show you a little wax resist, so I'm going to also use watercolor paints and have water and brushes handy, but I'm also going to use some crayons to do some wax resist. So you might want to do some patterns or something in there. So maybe I just want to do like a yellow spiral. Maybe I want to do green grass texture, so I use lines to make some grass texture. Maybe I want some wavy lines for the water in blue, azul blue. Maybe I just want a funky firework in violeta purple. And zigzags in rojo red, whatever just came to my mind. And for anaranjado orange, maybe I just want some curly cues, like I'm looking under a microscope. Alright, so you can fill it all with crayon, or I'm going to just show you a little wax resist. So the waxy crayon is going to resist the watery watercolor. So maybe I do yellow first because it's at the tip top. So I get my brush wet, I wake up one color at a time. I'm waking up yellow right now. And I can paint right over that waxy crayon and you'll still see it. Yellow on yellow with the camera is a little hard to see, but again, no bad hair days on the brush. I'm trying to fill it in my circle like a coloring book. So nice smooth strokes. Then back to the bath so I can wake up a new color. Let's say I move on to verde green. I'm going clockwise now. So clean brush, wake up green. That's a little easier to see, that waxy resist. You can still see my waxy green texture, but the watercolor paint resists it, so you see both. Alright, now I'm going to show you how to mix your intermediates. Again, you can mix on your paper, but not in the tray, so you still wake up one color at a time. So I have a clean brush. Just like how we name the intermediate colors, I'm going to start with which one? The primary, yellow. So I go back to yellow. I'm going to fill my shape. You have to mix it when it's still wet if you're using watercolor. So I have my yellow. Then I clean my brush. I'm just going to get a little dot of green. I'm going to get it in there, and I'm going to mix, mix, mix while it's still wet, and I have my nice lemon lime. I don't know if you can see it very well, but I got a nice lemon lime there. Alright, I'm going to rinse my brush. I'll show you one more. So I'll go to primary azul blue. I love that wax resist. I can still see my wavy lines, but fill in the background with the watercolor blue. Alright, since I still have blue on my brush, I'm going to fill in my intermediate blue because I start with the primary first. Fill in my shape. Rinse, rinse, rinse. With a wet brush, I get back into my green. And oops, I didn't get enough. And I can mix on the wet paper. And I make a nice teal, a blue-green, my intermediate color. And if you got too much green and not enough blue, just go back in there, put a dot of blue. That's much better. A nice teal. So I'll show you a finished one. I did on a separate piece of paper. So I have all my secondary and primary colors, and instead of doing a funky pattern, I did something that is that color in real life. Well, I made up a blue duck, but maybe a green snake, yellow pineapple, orange fish, red fruits, and I made up a purpley monster too with grapes. So again, I did waxy, painted over it with watercolor, then I mixed the intermediates. So all these intermediates are mixed with the primary first, and then clean your brush and add a secondary. So again, you can use watercolor, you can use marker, you can use colored pencil, you can use crayon. It can be a full project, kind of like I did here, or it can just be a notes page in your sketchbook so that you understand color theory and really get the hang of my favorite element of design, color. So this will help you in all other projects, and I hope that you enjoy it and have fun, but pause as needed, rewind, ask questions, do your thing.